Thursday, 2nd April 2026. Venue, Banquet Hall, State House, Abuja. Time, 9:30 a.m. Guests are requested to be kindly seated by 8:30 a.m. Guests are to assemble at Eagle Square for clearance and onward transportation to the State House. Announcer, Professor Muhammad Ali Pate, Honorable Coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare.
It's a brand new day, I'm feeling stronger. I fit to do anything, I fit to do my work now. Yesterday was tough, but I don't repair, I don't recover. Yeah, see me as a fresh. Now they ask me how would I do it? Let me I say, I'm in the way. You for capsule, I'm for liquid, yeah.
Repair and recover with Astimi.
State contributory health scheme where we use shikini money take join for PHC this today.
I think say now all this way government want use collect money from us. So
the thing there real low. Now so they carry me go see doctor sharply.
Abeg, tell me more.
The state contributory health scheme don't make payment for hospital become very affordable. Plus if you register all your family members join.
I dey go do my own sharp.
Yeah, so the contributory health scheme, they make healthcare easy for everybody for checking in money. Waka go health center way near you pass. Put your name so you fit enjoy plenty health awoof. They like grace. Know your health center. Trust your health center. Waka go health center way near you pass.
This message now from the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency, NPHCDA.
It's a brand new day, I'm feeling stronger. I fit to do anything, I fit to do my work now. Yesterday was tough, but I don't repair, I don't recover. Yeah, see me as a fresh. Now they ask me how would I do it? Let me I say, I'm in the way. You for capsule, I'm for liquid, yeah.
Repair and recover with Astimi. In the beating heart of Owerri, business never sleeps. From sunrise to sundown, the wheels keep turning. And behind the scenes, vision meets action. Governor Hope Uzodima's leadership has turned manifestos into reality. Transformations that feels like a miracle. But progress needs peace, and in Imo, it's not left to chance. From land to sky to river deep, guardians are watching, protecting dreams and opportunity. At Orashi's quiet shore, hydropower is rising, set to energize a growing economy. The change is visible. New roads emerge, industry hums, communities come alive. At the center, a digital revolution. 500,000 young minds trained each year to build the future. As Orashi rises, so does Imo and the hopes of a hard-working people. A new Imo is on the rise.
When hyperacidity threatens to turn your stomach into a raging volcano, reach for Rulox. Rulox Antacid Anti-Flatulence Suspension contains effective ingredients to combat indigestion, heartburn, stomach gas caused by hyperacidity, giving you effective relief. Rulox Antacid Anti-Flatulence Suspension, effective relief against hyperacidity.
Made by SKG Pharma Limited. If symptoms persist after 3 days, consult your doctor.
Tun daga wata 8 da suka wuce baya, inda muke din nan baya zauno.
Dari sai dai kan bi mu bi, omi atin ya ya wata bi no omi da di wa dori.
Primary health care centers are meant to be the first line of care. Today, a transformation is underway.
Mbido nwa obi anwuri ma arubeghị arụ. So ru 3rd November. If you know already bido befuwe pan, befuwe zinc.
Before this facility, we used to see patients only just 20, 15, but now over 100.
An zo an sa mana sola, kowane ɗaki da aka shiga za a samu ruwa.
Ban san ma me zan fada ba, na gode kawai.
This is not just a project, it's a promise to restore dignity and ensure every Nigerian, no matter where they live, has access to quality healthcare.
The Sims Easter Sales Bonanza is here again. Starting from the 25th of March to the 11th of April, 2026, you can enjoy up to 30% off on televisions, air conditioners, refrigerators and freezers, mobile phones, and lots more. For more details, call 9010-376670 or 7000-307-467. Terms and conditions apply. Sims Digital Centers, for the right combination of quality and price.
It's a brand new day, I'm feeling stronger. I fit to do anything, you know. I fit to do my work now. Yesterday was tough, but I don't repair, I don't recover. Yeah, see me as a fresh. Now they ask me how will I do them. Like me, I say, I'm in the way. You get for capsule, I'm for liquid, yeah.
Repair and recover with Astimine.
From Lagos, the nation's commercial capital, this is the news at 10. Live from Channels Television. Reporting tonight, Anne Waodo.
Hello and welcome. Tonight, tension resurfaces in Jos Plateau State hours after the 48-hour curfew was lifted following the deadly Agwan Rukuba attack as residents grapple with uneasy calm and lingering fears. FCT Minister Nyesom Wike responds to Bauchi State Governor Bala Mohammed, rejects claim that he acts as APC's mole within the PDP, calls such accusations improper and unfounded. And INEC announces it will no longer recognize the David Mark-led or Rabiu Bala factions of the ADC following a review of the Court of Appeal's recent judgment. And U.S. President Donald Trump says he is strongly considering withdrawing from NATO as tensions rise with European allies and suggests U.S. military action in Iran could end in 2 to 3 weeks.
On business news, Nigeria's PMI rises for the 16th consecutive time to 53.1 in March as the country's economy sustains growth across key sectors.
On sports news tonight, the fourth and final phase of ticket sales for the eagerly anticipated 2026 World Cup in North America begins.
And from the nation's capital, Federal High Court Kaduna fixes April 14, 2026 to rule on the bill application filed by former governor of the state, Mr. Nasir El-Rufai.
We begin tonight with latest security developments in Jos, the Plateau State capital, which has experienced some tense moments today, Wednesday, April the 1st, 2026, just hours after the relaxation of the 48-hour curfew imposed following the Agwan Rukuba attack. However, the situation has since been brought under control, with authorities confirming that calm has returned across the city. But at the moment, it is an uneasy calm. Our correspondent Percy Dabang reports.
Tension is rising in Jos, the Plateau State capital, shortly after the state government relaxed the curfew as security operatives moved swiftly to restore order. At the peak of the situation, there were viral videos of attacks in some parts of the state capital, which did not escalate due to the intervention of security personnel. calm was eventually restored. The State Commissioner for Information, Mrs. Joyce Ramnap, undertakes a tour of part of Jos to assess the situation.
Yes, calm and normalcy have returned in the areas where we're having some troubleshoots, especially this spot where we stand, where it all started from, where the two communities were exchanging stones and throwing stones at each other, and the security operatives have been able to bring the situation under control, and this is what we are experiencing at the moment.
She called on residents to exercise restraint and avoid actions that can threaten the peace of the state.
Please, let's be more responsible to this. This is the cheapest part for us. The peace that we need on the plateau, we have to protect it. Everybody must take the measure to protect it.
Security presence remains heightened in part of the city as authorities continue efforts to consolidate the calm. Meanwhile, the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Mr. Bernard Doro, visited some of the survivors of Sunday night attack at the Jos University Teaching Hospital. Accompanied by a member of the House of Assembly, the minister commiserated with the victims and their families.
22 patients are victims of this unprovoked attack on admission. I have seen things for myself. The site is not good. No citizen should be passing through this.
We also want to use this medium to plead with Plateau people, where we are also sons of Plateau, to give peace a chance. Crisis has never been the solution, and we don't think in any instance it will be a solution.
The minister urged residents to embrace peace and remain vigilant, assuring them of the federal government's commitment to restoring lasting stability. Percy Dabang, Channels Television News.
Meanwhile, students of the University of Jos have been directed to vacate their hostels following renewed tension in areas surrounding the university, raising fears over the safety of the students on campus. In a statement issued by the Deputy Registrar, Information and Public Relations, Emmanuel Magudu, the Vice-Chancellor, Tanko Ishaya, ordered the immediate evacuation of the students from hostels as a precautionary measure. To facilitate this exercise, the Plateau State Government, under Governor Caleb Mutwang, has provided transportation services for the students with approval for movement within curfew hours. Despite this development, the university has reassured the public that adequate security measures have been put in place to protect the institution. Meanwhile, the Vice-Chancellor has also assured the management to actively work and restore normalcy and ensure the safety of the university community. Students and parents have been urged to remain calm and comply with evacuation arrangements as authorities continue to monitor the situation and provide further updates. The Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Mr. Nyesom Wike, has replied Governor Bala Muhammad of Bauchi State on accusation of being planted to destroy the People's Democratic Party. According to the minister, during his meeting with Mr. Bala just last week, the governor requested for a leadership position in the PDP. But due to his refusal, Mr. Bala is now looking for a party to pitch his tent. Mr. Wike disclosed this when he inspected some ongoing projects in the nation's capital. Our correspondent, Kumbia Buluwadi, reports.
Top officials from the Federal Capital Territory Administration, led by the FCT Minister, embark on an inspection tour of some ongoing road projects in the FCT. The first stop is the 7.2-kilometer dual carriageway linking Gwarimpa and Jahi districts. Other projects inspected include the highway from the airport road to Kuje and the ongoing construction of the Kuje-Gwaglada road. After assessing the level of progress on the projects, Mr. Wike addresses the press.
I'm impressed generally, but this will be a continuous exercise. Every 1 or 2 weeks will be here so that they will know that we're serious. Because I've already made promise to Mr. President that this project should be inaugurated study ambassador.
Beyond asphalts and drainages, politics is brought to the fore, and the FCT minister replies to the accusations by Governor Bala Muhammad of Bauchi State, alleging that he's being used to destroy the PDP.
He came to me. Now look, he went to Mr. President, and he told Mr. President that he worked for him. And so he was coming to see me. Why did he not tell Nigerians that he was going to see Mr. President 3 times? Then he now said, look, okay, can they have some position? I said, what kind of position would you want to have? He said, can we give you a secretary? I said, look, you're a conquered person, and you're looking for a big elephant. Why not stoop to? You already conquered, you lost. You are talking from a weak point, and you want to demand secretary. That is not done. This accusation of me being planted, they have always accused that, but all those who are accused are aware now. The NPC, so who now has told the truth? In 2022-2023, when the president emerged as the presidential candidate of APC, this same Bala Mohammed, no shame, no character, flew down to Port Harcourt to meet me that, look, we have to work for Aswaji Bola Ahmed Tinubu, that he can never work with Atiku. It didn't take 4 days. The same man who came to lure me has now moved to the same Atiku. Even this meeting he came to meet me, he found that you know that Atiku hates him, that he will never. That's why we should make sure that since he cannot go to APC, let us be the PDP. I agreed. The same man now has also moved to the same Atiku's party. What kind of character? This is what I've always said. They don't even know that Nigerians are watching them.
Mr. Wike asserts that the future of the PDP is very bright and will maintain its status as the leading opposition party in Nigeria. From the nation's capital, Kumbi Aboluade, Channels Television News.
In the meantime, the Bauchi State Governor Bala Mohammed has held a closed-door meeting with members of the national leadership of the All Progressives Congress, the APC, at the government house in Bauchi State. The delegation included the APC national chairman, Ntawe Yewata, and the governor of Kano State, Abba Yusuf. Just 3 of them attended that meeting, as other members of the state party executives were excluded. The media was also barred from covering the meeting, and both Governor Mohammed and Ntawe Yewata declined to grant interviews, describing the visit as private. The meeting comes just 1 day after Governor Bala Mohammed expressed interest in joining the African Democratic Congress, the ADC, following a visit by an ADC delegation led by Mr. Babashir Lawal in Bauchi State. And staying with party politics, the Kabiru Turaki-led group of the People's Democratic Party says that it has registered 4.2 million Nigerians as members under 3 weeks. Addressing a media conference in Abuja, the National Publicity Secretary of the group, Mr. Inieme Mobong, stated that 50.6% of members registered are from northern Nigeria. He also announced the extension of the e-registration exercise to April the 30th, 2026.
Data found on our portal as at March 31, 2026 indicates that our ward registration agents, as at the midnight of March 31, 2026, recorded a total of 4,264,675 members. While our members are clearly in excess of this number, it is needful to commend those who have kept faith with us despite the current challenges we have faced in the recent past. This, for us, is a constant reminder of the responsibility that we carry to ensure that the political future of these millions of Nigerians is not put in jeopardy, nor their decision made to be subservient to any other party, especially the All Progressives Congress, the APC. If they had wanted to join the ruling party, they had the opportunity to register with the ruling party. So when they choose to register with us, they registered with us as a mark of faith in us. And so we cannot therefore subjugate them, because we are delegates of power and we cannot subdelegate their power delegated to us. It's the principle of administrative law, delegatus non potest delegare. If they wanted to join the APC, they could have joined. So they cannot join the APC indirectly by joining the PDP. That is the statement that they have made. So that is why we treat their data with respect and we commend them.
The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, says it will henceforth cease to accept correspondences from both the David Mark-led African Democratic Congress and the Rafiu Bala-led group, following a review of the judgment of the Court of Appeal on March the 12th this year. The statement signed by the Chairman, Information and Voter Education, Mohammed Kudu, also notes that the Commission shall no longer deal with any of the parties, nor monitor any meeting, congress, or convention of both groups until the matter at the Federal High Court is decided upon. The Commission has also promised to remove the names of David Mark from the INEC portal. Mr. Nafiu Bala, who was the vice chairman of the ADC before the David Mark-led caretaker committee took over the affairs of the party, has been in court to challenge the emergence of Mr. David Mark and his colleagues at the National Working Committee. In part two, after the break, Aviation Minister Festus Keyamo announces that the federal government has paid 98% of previously trapped airline funds. Please join us again.
Keep your children safe from mosquitoes with algae. Too cool.
Side by side is only you and me. Open and see rainbows and colors in your mind.
New look, same timeless performance.
For this small thing, you never hear say on top smart cash, you don't go pay any shishi. Do am now, my pikin do am for me sharp. If True say smart cash no charge you, see you under your nose.
Make something.
No matter the transaction, smart cash no go charge you shishi. Whether na airtime or na data you buy, or you want pay for your light or na cable bill, na zero charges for smart cash. This one not be cho. Work is day. Make you set download Smart Cash app or dial *939# sharp.
With Nivea Dry Deo, you can keep moving forward in life with confidence. Nivea Dry Deo. Derma 72-hour active protection against sweat and odor with 0% alcohol to prevent irritation. Stay dry and fresh all day long. Skin is for moving forward, Nivea is for skin. Your favorite Nivea Deo, now in a smaller pack size.
Pass that back.
I bet you can't do that again.
Being your best is a daily commitment. Many dream about it, but only a few walk towards it. Amstel Malta. Be your best.
When President Bola Ahmed Tinubu campaigned in 2023, he promised to build a better Nigeria. Today, savings from fuel subsidy removal have enabled state governments to pay salaries, develop infrastructure, and execute social welfare projects. Due to increased revenue from fuel subsidy savings between June 2023 and December 2024, 33 states and the FCT have reduced their domestic debt profiles from 5.8 trillion naira to 3.9 trillion naira. A lot is being done to fulfill the promises of President Tinubu to Nigerians. A message from the All Progressives Congress, APC.
TerraQ, now available in crayfish. TerraQ, unwrap joy, unleash taste.
Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the news at 10 on Channels Television, broadcasting live from Lagos. Reminder of our main stories. Tension resurfaces in Jos Plateau State hours after the 48-hour curfew was lifted following deadly Ongwan-Rukuba attack as residents grapple with uneasy calm and lingering fears. FCT Minister Nyesom Wike responds to Bauchi State Governor Bala Muhammad, rejects claims that he acts as APC's mole within the PDP, calling such accusations improper and unfounded. INEC announces it will no longer recognize the David Mark-led or Rabiu Bala factions of the ADC following a review of the Court of Appeal's recent judgment. And U.S. President Donald Trump says he's strongly considering withdrawing from NATO as tensions rise with European allies and suggests U.S. military action in Iran could end in 2 to 3 weeks. The Minister of Aviation, Festus Keyamo, has announced that the federal government has paid 98% of previously trapped airline funds, a move aimed at restoring investor confidence and unlocking fresh investments into the aviation sector. Speaking at the inaugural Nigeria Aircraft Acquisition and Investment Summit in Lagos, Mr. Keyamo says the achievement is not just a debt settlement, but a strategic reset. Our aviation correspondent, Bukola Joe Kitsubi, reports.
It's a convergence of aviation excellence from across Nigeria and Africa at the Maiden Aircraft Acquisition and Investment Summit holding here in Lagos. Here, stakeholders are not just talking numbers, they're charting a new course. With sharp focus on aircraft financing, fleet expansion and market access, stakeholders are pushing bold strategies to reposition Nigeria's aviation sector for altitude gains, one of which is the payment of foreign airlines trapped fund.
IATA reported that Nigeria has cleared 98% of previously blocked airline funds by mid-2024 and later cited Nigeria as a clear example of how backlog resolution can be successfully achieved through constructive engagement and phased repatriation.
As conversations progresses, concerns remain on foreign dominance over lucrative international routes, airspace where Nigerian carriers are yet to fully maximize yield.
What is the difference between our flag carriers and these international airlines that come and feed on our market? It's very simple. It's a capacity to acquire aircraft, to acquire equipment.
Airlines must adopt disciplined and strategic approaches to fleet acquisition. Aircraft selection should align with route structures, market demand, and maintenance capability. Uncoordinated fleet expansion often leads to inefficiencies and increased operational challenges.
From a trade perspective, the Director General of the World Trade Organization, Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, who joined virtually, says connecting Nigeria is key, but Africa is also ripe to rise above mediocrity to become a great enabler of trade.
Nigeria's International Air Connectivity Index has declined since 2014 and it is presently ranked the 91st largest international passenger market in the world. The sector can contribute more to the economy if the structural constraints are removed.
Industry participants believe Nigeria's aviation sector is poised for a steady climb towards expanded growth if these conversations translate into action. Actions capable of redefining the future of air travel in Nigeria and Africa. Bukola Joe Oketumbi, Channels Television News.
And over to the Green Chamber now, where the House of Representatives is looking into the performance of concessionaires operating Nigeria's air and seaport terminals. Speaking at the commencement of the investigation, the chairman of the ad hoc committee set up by the House, Mr. Kolawole Akinlayo, says the probe will assess the effectiveness of the port concession regime. Meanwhile, the Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives is throwing his own weight behind the creation of an additional state in the southeastern region. Our National Assembly correspondent Terry Ikumi reports.
The port concession regime, introduced in 2006, is now getting the attention of the House of Representatives almost 20 years later.
At all times guaranteed.
Last year, the House set up an ad hoc committee to carry out an investigation and appraise the performance and benefits accruing to the federal government from all concessionaire-operated ports, both air and sea terminals.
We have your agreement. Because the one you submitted to us, we also got agreement from Ministry of Justice. Because the agreement we got from the Ministry of Justice are different from some of the agreements submitted to us by the terminals operator. But what we are saying is the fees that is meant to the Federation, that are not paid to Federation, that is the only area we have grounds.
Now, you said no evidence of payment of commencement fee. It's not in the agreement, sir. You see no evidence of payment lessor asset purchase. It's not in the agreement, sir. You see no evidence of remittance on annual lease fees. It's not in the agreement, sir.
The hearing will continue with other stakeholders as the committee hopes to unravel and clean up concerns around revenue losses due to the concessioning of ports. Meanwhile, the clamor for more states in the southeast continues as it gains the support of the Deputy Speaker.
To fit the mind of the decision makers.
Honorable Benjamin Kalu made his support clear when he received stakeholders of the Anioma State Movement in his office, led by Senator Ned Nwoko. The Deputy Speaker, however, proposed the fusion of the two states currently being put forward.
We are here as the people of Anioma. Anioma people are Ndibo. As far as we are concerned, Igbo, and they have come to express their support towards the creation of Anioma State. For this to work, you need to partner with part of Imo State, with part of Anambra State, for this to work. You cannot be in Delta at the moment and say you want to create a state out of Delta and call it Southeast. But if you join with part of Southeast, you become a Southeastern extension, which is Southeastern Zone.
As chairman of the Constitution Review Committee, the Deputy Speaker promises that the committee and indeed the National Assembly would prioritize the creation of an additional state for the people of the Southeast. Terry Ikumi, Channels Television News.
President Bola Tinubu is set to travel to Jos, Plateau State capital, to commiserate with the government and the people of the state over the recent gun attacks, which claimed the lives of innocent citizens. According to a statement from the presidency, President Tinubu had been scheduled to travel to Iberu in Ogun State tomorrow to flag off operations at the Gateway International Cargo Airport. That trip has now been postponed as the president heads to Plateau. From Plateau State, he will travel to Lagos to observe Good Friday. On Saturday, April the 4th, President Tinubu will travel to Ogun State for the commissioning of the cargo airport and the inauguration of 2 commercial aircrafts for the export and import of goods aimed at boosting the state's economic growth. He will also inaugurate the new edifice of the Federal Operations Unit of the Nigerian Customs Service and its operational vehicles. He will then return to Lagos to continue with the Easter holiday, during which he is expected to commission infrastructure projects undertaken by the administration of Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu. Before returning to Abuja, President Tinubu will visit Bayelsa State on April the 10th to commission some of Governor Duyederi's completed projects. Meanwhile, the president will meet with the governor of Plateau State, Caleb Mutfwang. He met with him today at the State House in Abuja. Speaking with journalists after that meeting today, the governor said he had come to brief the president on the situation in Plateau State following the attacks by gunmen on Sunday and the steps being taken to forestall a reoccurrence.
We imposed a curfew, which we relaxed yesterday into this morning. We relaxed this morning from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. But unfortunately, this morning there were some looters who tried to disrupt the peace again. But I'm glad that the security forces working together were able to calm the situation as at 12 noon this afternoon. And so presently the situation is well under calm. Immediately, after the crisis, we convened a Security Council meeting. We've been able to agree on certain steps that we need to take. And the President have briefed him, and the President has agreed that those steps should be taken. The President commiserates with the entire state. It's something that has touched him personally, and he wants to show the people his love and affection for them. And so he has approved certain measures that we need to take further in conjunction with the security forces. But we are seeing this as an act of criminality. It's barbaric. We condemn it. It's an act of terrorism because whatever religion you belong to, it does not give you any basis to come and do the kind of actions that were done on Sunday. We're therefore hoping that going forward, we'll deal with this as criminality and make sure that these kind of actions do not repeat themselves.
Now let's shift gears to our studio in the nation's capital, where Gloria Almezoke is standing by to bring us more stories on the news at 10. Over to you, Gloria.
Thank you, Anne. We begin in Kaduna State, where a federal high court has fixed April 14th to deliver its ruling on the bill application filed by former governor of Kaduna State, Nasir El-Rufai. He is currently facing legal proceedings over allegations of financial misconduct and abuse of office brought against him by the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission.
At the resumed hearing at the Federal High Court in Kaduna, security is heightened around the court's premises ahead of the anticipated ruling on the bail application of the former governor of Kaduna State, Mr. Nasir El-Rufai, with observers expecting a large turnout of supporters and political stakeholders. Mr. El-Rufai, through his lawyer, had applied to the court seeking bail for the two defendants pending the determination of their case. However, proceedings at the court saw both the defense and prosecution present final arguments on the bail request. Counsels to El-Rufai emphasized that bail is a constitutional right and argued that their client has strong ties within the country, making him unlikely to abscond. On the other hand, the prosecution urged the court to deny the application, citing concerns that the former governor could influence witnesses or obstruct ongoing investigations if released. After listening to both sides, the presiding judge, Justice Rilwan Aikawa, adjourned the matter, stating that a ruling will be delivered on April 14, 2026.
The bail application on behalf of the two defendants was argued, and the ruling has been fixed for the 14th of April. We look forward to that day to be here. Oh, there will definitely be argument from everybody. We are lawyers. We made our case why he should be granted bail. They made their case why he should not be granted bail. And then we expect the ruling of the court.
The court's ruling on April 14 is expected to determine whether Nasir El-Rufai will continue to remain in custody or be granted conditional release as his trial proceeds.
Still ahead on the news at 10, Nigeria's PMI rises 16th consecutive time to 53.1 in March as the country's economy sustains growth across key sectors. That's on Business News. Let's join us again.
President Bola Ahmed Tinubu campaigned in 2023, he promised to build a better Nigeria. In empowerment, the 75 billion naira Presidential Intervention Fund for MSMEs, SMEDAN's 11 billion naira support for SMEs, and NDDC's 30 billion naira Youth Entrepreneurship Fund is creating jobs and empowering Nigerians. A lot is being done to fulfill the promises of President Tinubu to Nigerians. A message from the All Progressives Congress, APC.
My baba, they always say, for market, every day gets your own wahala. Sometimes people go want scam me. But baba say, no be by gra. You must cool down, dey sharp. Because with OPay payment, your money go enter sharp, no story. But inside market, anything fit happen. One day, we no see phone again. My baba remember OPay USSD lock, dial *955*131#. Baba press am, lock account. From market woman to driver, from small boy to big man. Now OPay, they protect people like us. My baba fit sell, press phone, collect POS, and still they teach me price. And when they don't tire am, go just tap OPay night guard. We no fear for this our hustle life. Now OPay be the people payment shield.
Dad, can I read my essay now?
After dinner, son.
It's all right. Let's have it, son.
Things I'm happy for. I'm happy that Mom smiles more now. I know she works hard and sometimes her back hurts. I don't want Mom to have a bendy back. But now, washing is easier and faster. Sometimes, Mom doesn't even have to leave the couch. I'm happy that Grandpa can finally have his favorite grilled bully anytime he wants.
Grandpa! Life is good.
It's bully.
I remember when Dad used to rush to the fridge for a treat. I was always scared that one day his head might freeze from thinking too hard about what to choose. Mom! Dad's head is frozen again! Thank God, Dad's new fridge is cool. I'm happy for my family. Our life is,
Life's good, son. Life is good.
You make choices every day. Your essential routine shouldn't be one of them. Start with Nivea Men Deep Body Lotion with Max Tech, powered by Black Carbon, that gives you 48 hours moisture. Then, lock in that powerful dark wood scent with Nivea Men Deep Roll-On with Max Tech that gives you 72 hours sweat and odor protection. Skin is for playing it smart. Nivea is for skin. Nivea Men, proud sponsors of Real Madrid.
That back. I bet you can't do that again.
Being your best is a daily commitment. Many dream about it, but only a few walk towards it. Amstel Malta. Be your best.
Welcome back. You're still watching the news at 10, coming to you live on Channels Television. To company news now, Baobab Microfinance Bank has officially opened its new head office at number 129 Ikorodu Road, Lagos, marking a key milestone in its growth journey and reinforcing its commitments to operational excellence, improved service delivery to MSMEs, and financial inclusion. Speaking at the unveiling ceremony, the bank's management said the move underscores its strategic focus on strengthening internal capacity while enhancing the quality and efficiency of services offered to customers nationwide.
Located along one of Lagos's major commercial corridors, Baobab Microfinance Bank unveils its new head office.
To the glory of God, in Jesus' name. Amen.
A tour of the facility reveals a modern workspace designed to improve accessibility and provide a more conducive environment to support the bank's expanding operations. Addressing industry stakeholders and regulators, the Chief Executive Officer of Baobab Microfinance Bank, Nigeria, says the move reinforces the bank's mission to make financial services more accessible, inclusive, and impactful.
Our decision to relocate our registered office to Lagos is both strategic and forward-looking. At Baobab, we often say, we are closer than you think. This is more than a slogan. It is a commitment to continuously move closer to the underserved and the unserved, and to provide accessible, reliable, and innovative financial services that empower individuals and businesses alike.
Commenting on the milestone, Group CEO Philip Segwat and Board Chairman Rotimi Oyekomi emphasized the significance of the development, highlighting the bank's commitment to building a leading financial institution by leveraging expertise, technology, and a customer-centric approach to meet the financing needs of MSMEs.
SMEs are the engine of growth for most countries. They employ a lot of people, and so for us, we have to be in this market, as well as other markets, by the way. As you know, we're in 16 states, 38 branches. The plan is, over the next 5 years, to grow our branches by at least 100 branches and be in as many states as we think they should be.
We have dispersed, over the last 20 years, we have dispersed more than $10 billion in loans to micro enterprises on the African continent. So in a way, it's the logical next step for us is we want to grow strongly in Nigeria, which is the biggest market on the African continent. We want to become a very significant player.
With this expanded presence, the bank says it is well positioned to play a bigger role in supporting Nigeria's entrepreneurial landscape. The new head office stands as a symbol of that commitment and a foundation for its next phase of growth.
Well, that's it from the nation's capital. It's now back to you, Anne, in Lagos for the rest of the news at 10.
Very much, Gloria. And back here in Lagos, Stanbic IBTC has launched its own inaugural Nigeria Business Summit, bringing together influential voices from both public and private sectors to chart a path forward towards economic advancement. Opening day conversations centered on unlocking Nigeria's growth potential, empowering small and medium enterprises, and enhancing the nation's competitiveness on the global stage.
It's a very interesting one.
Lagos plays host to a high-octane gathering of visionaries as Stanbic IBTC Bank launches its inaugural Nigeria Business Summit. It's a room filled with the nation's movers and shakers, all dissecting the DNA of Nigeria's evolving economic landscape. Under the banner Nigeria Means Business, the two-day masterclass kicks off with a charge from Stanbic IBTC's chief executive, Mr. Chukwuma Nwokocha, delivered with precision by the bank's chief financial officer, Mr. Kunle Adedeji.
As Stanbic IBTC, we remain a trusted partner in equipping Nigerian enterprises with the required insights, capital, and trade solutions needed to scale and unlock opportunities across borders.
Joining the conversation via digital dispatch, the Minister of Finance, Mr. Wale Edun, lays down the gauntlet. The Nigerian economy lives and dies by the strength of its SMEs. To him, these businesses aren't just participants, they're the backbone.
So a strong SME sector will drive job creation, innovation, and resilience. Our shared ambition, as determined and set for us as an objective by Mr. President, is to build a 1 trillion naira economy. And it is achievable, but it will depend on businesses, especially SMEs, scaling up.
Representing the Lagos State Governor, Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu, the Commissioner for Economic Planning and Budget, Moshokwe George, moves the needle from theory to practice, calling for boots on the ground in support of the dreamers and the doers.
As we engage today, let us move from conversation to coordinated action that empowers entrepreneurs, strengthens industries, and indeed drives inclusive growth.
Mr. Oni, are you ready? The floor then ignites with fireside chats and deep dive sessions. The recurring theme, synergy, whether it's commercial banking or industrial tech. The consensus is clear. No one wins alone.
I think the message to take away is that partnering with
the right partner will set you up to take advantage of those opportunities. And that right partner is Stanbic IBTC Bank.
Something unique about Stanbic, they're not just with you at the good time, they're with you at the good time, and they're with you more at the bad time. And for small-scale business, this is what you need.
So it's been interesting looking at inside product services which Stanbic can offer, and also opportunity for expansion across Africa, which I see Stanbic really helping to push the narrative for Nigerian businesses and enterprises. I think it's a good one for us.
As the sun sets on day one, the takeaway is undeniable. With the right mix of policy, partnership, and persistence, Nigeria is not just open for business, it's ready to lead the global stage.
The two-day summit of the Stanbic IBTC will end tomorrow, 2nd of April 2026. I'll be bringing you updates for more. To other news now, Nigeria's industrial and financial sectors are seeing renewed alignments as two of the country's foremost business leaders and industrialists move to deepen a long-standing partnership. The founder and chairman of BOA Group, Abdulsamad Rabiu, has hosted the chairman of United Bank for Africa, Tony Elumelu, and his executive team in Lagos in a meeting focused on financing growth, expanding industrial capacity, and strengthening the country's real sector. At the center of discussions was renewed push to expand financing frameworks for Lagos for large-scale manufacturing, deepening support for domestic production, and unlock the next phase of growth across food, infrastructure, and export-oriented value chains.
UBA stands as one of the most solid, most reliable banks, and we're really proud in knowing that we have, a strong partner, banking partner that we can always count on when it matters most. And you've always been there, always been very supportive. Thank you so much for the visit. Such an honor.
Thank you, sir.
I'm, quite confident that we can actually do more. We need to do more.
I want to start by saying that your group chair is a wonderful. I believe you all know that. His reputation and admiration level in this country and beyond Nigeria is very high. He's a great man. I personally admire him a lot for his humility. We were discussing once at the French president's place, but he, myself, and some people were just one corner discussing some 3-4 years ago, and we're just talking of the history of Falcon.
Yes.
And the issue of Falcon, how 1970 something.
Didn't Falcon jet, huh?
Falcon jet,
Private
is that 1970 something for the first to fly Falcon jet this part of the world. So.
Well, let's continue in the world of business. We now join Dominic Iwewu for more.
Thank you, Anne. And on business news, Nigeria's economy sustained its growth momentum in March, with the Purchasing Managers Index pointing to continued expansion across key sectors, and this is according to the central bank. In its latest official report, the CBN says despite the country's prevailing economic challenges, the composite PMI rose to 53.2 points, marking the 16th consecutive month of growth. At the same time, the report shows that 31 of the 36 subsectors surveyed recorded growth, reflecting broad-based economic expansion. The industrial sector led the performance with its PMI at 54.0, driven by increased manufacturing and production activities. It was followed by the service sector, which posted a PMI of 52.0, while agriculture also remained resilient with a PMI of 52.8. The World Bank says it is in support of what it describes as progress in the federal government's reforms agenda, citing it as the country's steady progress towards economic recovery. The World Bank Country Director for Nigeria, Matthew Veggins, who made this known while speaking during a meeting with the Senate Committee on Capital Markets, Senator Osita Izunaso, in Abuja today, emphasized the importance of parliamentary oversight in development projects. The World Bank representative, who underscored that legislative oversight remains a critical pillar for ensuring accountability and effectiveness, particularly in projects funded by the institution, However, encouraged its careful and constructive application across all initiatives. From there, we head to the domestic stock market, which begins the new month and second quarter with bullish sentiment, despite a decline in the volume of shares traded. Ladi Williams tells us more.
Well, the first trading day of April and the second quarter of 2026 kicked off in the green, and this was mostly the sentiment with global indexes. And adding to the gains now, we see the tier 1 banks have some movement in there, with the likes of GTCO adding 7.37%, Zenith Bank 7.52%, Access Core about 0.5%, a laggard today, UBA and First Holdco, that was unchanged. And we got an official statement from the Central Bank of Nigeria announcing the conclusion of the banking sector recapitalization program. And we now see these big moves today from the likes of GTCO and Zenith. Then for the sectors that we track, wrapping up and taking up the banking counter up 3.21%. Consumer goods, though, down big to start off this trading month, 1.56% lower. Oil and gas near flat, about 5 basis points. So day 1, April, and Q2, the bulls start.
Thank you, Ladi. It's also a mostly positive close for major global stock markets amid growing optimism that the Iran war will soon end. Here are some of the closing figures for Wednesday. And that's it on Business News. Back to Anne for the rest of the news at 10.
Thank you, Dominic. Outside our shores, Iran's foreign ministry has denied claims by the United States President Donald Trump that the country has asked for a ceasefire, describing it as false and baseless. Let's now join Simon Pusey with more international news and around the world in 5 from our London studio.
Good evening and welcome to the channel's studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. Donald Trump has said he's strongly considering pulling out of NATO and says US military action in Iran could end in 2 to 3 weeks. The Iranian president says Tehran has the necessary will to end the war, provided its enemies guarantee it will not flare up again. Meanwhile, the UK Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer has said the UK will host a multi-nation meeting this week on the Strait of Hormuz.
Later this week, the Foreign Secretary will host a meeting that brings those nations together for the first time, where we will assess all viable diplomatic and political measures that we can take to restore freedom of navigation, guarantee the safety of trapped ships and seafarers, and resume the movement of vital commodities.
The Russian Defense Ministry has said a Russian military plane has crashed in the occupied Ukrainian peninsula of Crimea, killing 29 people on board. Wreckage of the AN-26 aircraft was found after the plane lost contact with authorities during a routine flight. That's according to the Russian Defense Ministry. It blamed a technical failure and reported no external damage to the aircraft, implying that missiles, drones or birds are not suspected of causing the crash. 7 crew members and 23 passengers had been on board as it flew over Ukraine's Crimean Peninsula, which Russia illegally annexed in 2014. South Africa's army has officially been deployed to several parts of the country to help overwhelmed police clamp down on violent crimes, including illicit mining and gangs. President Cyril Ramaphosa earlier this year announced the deployment of 2,200 soldiers to 5 of the country's 9 provinces hardest hit by criminal activities. Authorities say the deployment, set to run for a year, is aimed at restoring order to crime-ridden areas, but critics warn that using the military in civilian policing rarely delivers lasting results. Illicit mining and gang violence are major problems in South Africa, which has one of the world's highest murder rates. The world's largest ever census has been launched in India with 33 questions on a range of topics, marking the first population count in more than 15 years. The two-phase exercise, billed as the world's most ambitious of its kind, will see more than 3 million officials spend a year counting every person in India. India's 16th census, the 8th since independence in 1947, will also include caste data, as is seen as crucial for policy, welfare delivery and political representation in the world's most populous country. With more than 1.4 billion people, India overtook China in 2023, according to the United Nations Populations Fund. A mass robo-tax outage in the Chinese city of Wuhan has caused at least 100 self-driving cars to stop mid-traffic, sparking renewed debate around the safety of driverless vehicles. Videos on social media have documented the outage, with one appearing to show it resulting in a highway collision, although police said no injuries had been reported. Baidu, the company behind the driverless cars, did not immediately respond to a request for comment. According to the police statement posted on social media site Weibo, the cause of the incident is still under further investigation.
This one will be an in-swinging ball towards the near post, sneaks through, it's in!
Authorities in the Democratic Republic of Congo have declared Wednesday a public holiday after the national football team qualified for their first World Cup in 52 years.
It's words that have never been spoken before! DR Congo is going to the World Cup!
The Leopards reached the final on Tuesday when this extra-time goal gave them a 1-0 win over Jamaica in the playoff. Democratic Republic of Congo's Ministry of Labour and Employment said that as a result of the historic victory, the nation could have the day off work to celebrate in unity, fervour and national pride. The Central African nation has only played in the World Cup once before, in 1974, when the country was named Zaire.
The Artemis II mission is a test mission of the Orion space capsule.
And 400,000 people are expected to cram the causeways, breaches and motel balconies of Florida's Space Coast for the launch attempt of Artemis II at around 6:24 local time. They will watch as 4 astronauts blast into space in the hope of flying around the moon and potentially travelling further from Earth than anyone has ever before. NASA's 10-day test flight will not land on the moon. However, the crew may witness views of the lunar landscapes that have never been seen before by human eyes.
Coming back to Earth, 7 miles a second.
And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the channel's studios in Lagos.
Many thanks indeed, Simon. In the world of sports, the fourth and final phase of ticket sales for the 2026 World Cup in North America has begun. The phase for the June 11 to July 19 event in the US, Mexico and Canada involves more than 3 million tickets. FIFA disclosed this in a press release that this last-minute sales phase opened at 1,500 GMT on the official website. Tickets are being sold on a first-come, first-served basis and will remain available until the end of the competition on July 19. Baghdad music, fireworks, and the occasional round of gunfire erupted across the nation's capital early this morning after the national team qualified for the World Cup for the first time in decades. Thousands of fans flooded the streets of Tahrir Square waving flags and transforming the city's usual gridlock into a massive pulsating block party. The air thick with the scent of street food and celebrations carried the rhythmic beat of traditional drums. Strangers embraced in tears of joy. Club football now, Manchester United defender Harry Maguire has been handed an FA charge after his sending off at Bournemouth. Maguire was shown a straight red in the 78th minute when United drew 2-2 at Bournemouth last month for a foul on Evan Nielsen, who earned his side a penalty. The FA alleged that Maguire acted improperly in confronting the fourth official following his dismissal. The player has until Thursday to respond. Chelsea made a Premier League record pre-tax loss of £262.4 million for the year ending June 30, 2025. As it was revealed, the Blues had spent more on agent fees than any other English club this season. The previous highest recorded pre-tax loss of the Premier League was the £197.5 million posted by Manchester City for the 2010-11 season. Chelsea posted a profit of £128.4 million in the previous year's account, but this was aided by the sale of the women's team to Bluco Midco, a subsidiary company, for nearly £200 million. The club says the losses were due in part to increased operating costs in 2024-2025 compared to the previous year. And that's your Sports News Tonight. I am Kelly Egiga. Anne, it's back to you.
Thank you, Kelly. And the main news again. Tension resurfaced in Jos Plateau State today, hours after the 48-hour curfew was lifted following the deadly Angwen Rubuka attack, and residents are currently grappling with uneasy calm and lingering fears. FCT Minister Nyesom Wike has responded to the Bauchi State Governor Bala Mohammed rejects claims that the act of APC's more within the PDP, calling it accusations that are improper and unfounded. And that's news at 10 tonight. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Anne Mwawadu. Good night.
It's Showbiz O'Clock, where we bring you the latest stories shaping the entertainment industry. This is Entertainment News on Channels Television. I am Kenny Akiwumi. Coming up on the program, folk musician Labule celebrates a night of sound and culture with the unveiling of Adugbo. We go all the way to the Capital Territory, Abuja, for the premiere of the high-octane thriller Avante. Plus, Sierra Leone crowns the winners of the Mr. and Mrs. Albinism pageant, championing a new era of inclusion. Details of these and more, so please stay with us. We dive straight into the music scene, where live performance took center stage at the debut of Adugbo. Spearheaded by folk sensation Labule, the venue serves as a sanctuary for authentic sound, drawing inspiration from pioneers like the legendary Fela and Nikulakbo Kuti. It was a night of high spirits and infectious movement as fans reconnected with the roots of the craft.
The power of wood and skin takes the spotlight as musician Labule hosts music enthusiasts to a night of live music in his newly unveiled Adugbo in Lagos.